Welcome back, everyone. I'm Tom Murphy, and this is Trinidad Now on TTTV, Trinidad Television, Channel 71. Second segment, DiLisio. We are going to start talking about economic development. And what I've done, Gene, is I'm doing essentially the same questions. I'm just going to restate this. Even though that you haven't been on council, I'm going to ask the questions because I don't want people to come back and say, well, you asked that person, you didn't ask this person. Whether you have an answer or not, that's okay because of your, this is your first shot running for council. So the first thing is, what are the most pressing issues facing Trinidad?
Well, I think making sure that water resources are available for the long-term planning. And second, I think the downtown parking is a real interesting thing that we might need to invest in a parking garage. I want to make sure the water sewer that was started by this council, the infrastructure restoration in the historical area is maintained and funded, hopefully, as much as it can be. The streets, curb and gutter, ADA access, and also the employee wage study. I think those are four important infrastructure improvement that I think the city's chartered to meet those needs of the citizens.
Right, okay. If you're elected, if you could time travel 4 years, what do you see? What would you like your vision? Where would Trinidad be in 4 years from now?
Well, I think they're getting nearer and closer to it, a self-sustaining entity that is relying on a broader base of income from a variety of businesses. And in the education sphere, they're training students for science industry, technology, engineering, arts, and math. I call it the STEAM, so I got a good visual from Raggio. The STEAM is a locomotive, so I think we're going in the right direction. We're plodding forward, trying to diversify our economy. I think I'd like to find out the number of retail businesses we have. How can we support them through marketing together? And that's one of the reasons why we produce this magazine, is to support the whole region. Let other people in different cities like Raton come up here to Trinidad. Trinidad go to Walsenburg for the different events. Our calendar of events, we became regional in September. That's why I talked to Raggio, because he always gives me wonderful ideas. Creativity is where I think Trinidad has been and is headed for. I think we have good group, and it's combining those efforts together and even just displaying a plan that showing what we're going to be doing and how we help the schools. I'm just really hopeful that we can find a way to collaborate and meet the needs for the school district to regenerate that positivism about Trinidad High and Trinidad Elementary and all the teachers here in Trinidad. They are just so dedicated, and I think our city needs to promote those entities as well. And the junior college, I've just reestablished classes there, and just amazing work with the holistic health and massage group. Is just, we have such a diverse climate for economy already. And we are a local business. We're entrepreneurs. We've started as a photo studio and evolved quite a helping photographers and working with graphic design. We had a studio at Honey, so we're into the education and supporting the whole growth of hopefully the STEAM idea.
Right, excellent. Raggio, just side note, it was one of the first people that we worked with when I started the television. Very creative man. I still have all those tapes. So
he was very surprised when we put him on the cover, and he really appreciates this community, and he's done a lot for education, and I'm so proud that he has a shop in town, and he's hopefully able to grow because of the marketing we've done.
Right, very talented man. Gene, and just in our conversation, I know you've been studying this online and everything. How familiar are you with the city budget? And do you know what the city's main revenue sources are and what their expenditures are?
Well, I've been looking at the budgets. I see all the departments. I know that they're a separate entity for electric, and I pay my electric bills. And I'm very glad that they're going down, and I thank Michelle for all the work she's done on that effort. So I don't know all about, I think a lot of revenues come from the sales tax. And the taxes for marijuana, I'm studying how the 2.9% comes from the state and how we can feed that money or match that money from the revenue of the marijuana taxes. Business taxes. So I don't know all the sources. Fees and code enforcement fees, I'm sure, building.
Well, but at least though, it's clear to me you're spending some time, looking at this.
I'm watching I love the website they've just developed. It's very user friendly.
Mm-hmm.
You can see every department. You can see expenditure and revenue, so I just can't articulate them very clearly.
It's fine.
Okay.
The next one I'm going to read, because I don't want to phrase this incorrectly, but industry recruitment is very difficult for rural communities, especially ones where healthcare, education, and workforce development systems are below par. What type of businesses would you like to try to attract to Trinidad?
Well, I think we should share some of the wealth from the north, because they're tired of all the technology companies are all going Fort Collins, Denver. I don't know why they don't want to come down here. We have the resources. We need to develop the workforce. That's why I'm so passionate about getting back into the education and making sure our students are ready for the workforce. And that's why people don't want to come down here, I'm sure. As far as, that's my opinion. I don't know if that's true.
So, well, one of the things you'd mentioned is that you're working with a junior college. In my opinion, that would probably be one of our best tools right there, is to train people over there. And it sounds like that you've kind of looked into that.
I've looked, the GED program is already training a lot of people and getting them ready for workforce.
Okay.
And I think we do have a lot of talented students, but they leave, and our other job is to bring back these students that have to go to bigger markets, like my son and daughter,
Right.
and we employ them out of town. I mean, maybe that's the answer, is to get some other means of employing them through the internet or through long distance, you know, that's how Antoinette communicates. She sends her stories, and
Right.
and we've been able to get people to work for us out of town, and they're working in bigger markets. So I think maintaining our physical structures downtown will attract them back and make them want to stay here, and hopefully our tax incentives that we can supply to, I don't know, I would try to get the technology and science industry, engineering, architecture. Our companies should come here because we have the most amazing buildings here. So I don't know why we're not trying to attract architecture companies to locate
Okay.
here. I think
Okay.
tax incentive, the property rehabilitations, I'm not sure of all the economic development aspects. I know.
Okay,
I'm
well,
glad that-
there's more questions.
Okay, go ahead.
And some of these questions may seem redundant to you, but I'm asking them just in a different way. As I prepared for this, it was hard not to rephrase a question, and it kind of falls into different categories too. So if you've already answered it once, it's okay. You may have to
Okay.
answer it again,
All right.
or a couple times. But one of the things is the growth in the tourism economy has been outstanding over the last couple of years. Do you support the new tourism economy?
Definitely. I think we started with the banners with the tourism board. We were hired to do the 12 banners, the featured legends by the tourism board, and had the banners. In fact, I want to bring back the banners if they can to downtown, or else put them on the street by International Bank and Chimino Park.
Okay.
Maybe that would be a plan. So, you know, we support all the attributes of the tourism art. Definitely rich history, and our tribute to lawmen was about reinforcing the sheriff and the county and the police, city police, about their integral part of our community and our historic part. So I'm really thankful for all the history that we've been able to share and work with the city on, and the tourism board. I think a lot. I think,
Okay.
and they're very beneficial in helping us get this out.
Okay. Jean, the city created an economic development department 2 years ago. What ideas, and again, you may have just stated some of them, but what ideas would you have for economic development if you're elected?
Well, I thought there was a study going out, but I never saw if it came back. There was supposed to be a big economic development study, and I'm
Right.
not sure the feasibility of it got.
Right.
I didn't follow up on that, but I'd like to see a little more how many businesses are in certain categories, have us list in what areas we can count on for people to get help. I mean, I think it's interesting to ask the people locally here what they want to do. That's why I'm called the voice of the people, and see what their input is. If we need to do a needs survey of what people think they need. I
Right.
did a little bit of a needs survey informally, and they wanted the public transportation, more opportunities for people that don't have cars to have
Right.
a bus of some sort. The downtown parking garage would be another structure that could be employment related, valet services, and so I'm studying a lot of different tax policies in the
Let me just
state.
help you on one thing.
Yeah, tell me
There was a parking study done 5-6 years ago.
okay.
So you might
Okay.
want to ask for
Yeah.
that. I don't know
Okay.
that it's on the website.
All right.
So just to save you a little bit of time,
Yeah,
you know,
good idea.
I would look for that. My guess is 5-6 years ago they did that. So instead of you plowing
Right,
through and,
right.
because
I
again,
have looked online the other.
I'll tell you what on camera what I told you off is that I don't expect you to know everything.
Right.
You're this is your first time running and you haven't been there, so you're not going to have all the answers. But as I said, I'm going to pose you the questions just because I don't want people to say, well, you asked some questions of these people and not of other people. So try and just be fair. Next question. Last year, the city economic development focus was on stabilizing downtown to create an attractive atmosphere for commercial businesses. They did things and are doing things like rental assistance, facade redevelopment grants, the Main Street patios that are in front of several of our restaurants and bars. And they did an entertainment district which was utilized for the Trinidad Blues Fest on the pre-fest on Friday night. What do you think of all those efforts?
I think those are wonderful. I think we've had a lot of feedback from just looking at the crowds for that entertainment district, and the patios seem to be working out. They're very colorful, and they've decorated them with beautiful flowers, so it makes it more attractive. And the facade, I'd like to get that Bat Masterson picture out of that one blue crate, because I want to decorate it a little bit up.
Right.
And that was supposed to be one of the facade. We started working with the tourism a long time ago. And so
Right.
I'd like to get the Bat Masterson picture out of that building so I think I found an artist that might want to put some color in it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I think, and then I didn't know anything about the rental assistance, so I think anything we can do to pull more people and businesses.
One of the issues I know that there's been some criticism of the patios,
Oh, okay.
but no matter what you do, somebody,
That's right.
and I don't know if you're on Facebook, but boy, you can't say anything now and you get beat up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We just got to say what we think, and we're
Right.
That's our freedom, so we're
True.
thankful for that.
True. Well, some of the success that we've had, Gene, is that the occupancy from downtown buildings has gone, and this might be, again, a question that you can speak to generally, but from 2015 to 2017, in 2015, the occupancy or vacancy was 61%. Now it's 29%. What do you think that's attributable to?
Well, it must be the tourism board. They must be really trying to stabilize that downtown. And it's also
Right.
due to Jay Chimino and the Phil Longford.
Right.
I'm so thankful. And the input that the Art Space to Create has got with Dana Crawford.
Right. And maybe the elephant in the room, the other one,
Oh, yes, who was the elephant?
the marijuana.
Oh, well, I was going to get to that. But I
Yeah.
think all these things came together kind of at the same time.
True.
It's like about a 2-year history and a
Right.
3-year
And
history, 2014.
I gave a shout out to Jay Chimino when I interviewed the mayor because my wife works for him. So I am
Right.
biased, and the dealership's going to be open here in about a month or a little under a month, and so we're excited for that.
Right.
And so good things happening.
Well, the vision with that Mount Carmel, even that was before the marijuana came out. And that's
Right.
been, focusing on the mental and physical health of our community has been
Right.
a very positive thing.
Well, Mr. Chimino, has a passion for this community. He's put money down on us, so it's greatly appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Gene, there's been some discussion with people in the community. There was a retreat recently where they discussed marijuana money and how it's going to be spent. And I don't know that you've been at the meetings or whatever, but they're getting ready to make some decisions on that. Where do you think some of the marijuana money should be spent?
Well, I'm hoping that we go by our charter. I have read the charter, and we're here for utility needs. We're here for the water sewer infrastructure, the street, curb and gutter, and making sure that all areas of town can feed into that at some point in time.
Right.
And I did go to some of those meetings, and I know we'd like to do a lot of things we want to do, but it's just like my kids telling them that we have to do what we need to do first. And that's probably my platform right there. That's what I've heard from the citizens, is that we want to do what we need to do and then go on to plan bigger with other projects that we want to do, getting help from other matching funds or whatever. Again, my big thing is to making sure some of that marijuana that I voted for the marijuana money because I thought it was going to capital improvement for the schools. And then after researching it more, it's really only the state sales tax that can be funded for that.
Right.
The BEST grant, and I did go to the school board, and not the school board, the superintendent, and they are working on a BEST grant, which is a matching grant. The excise tax money also should support that. And I'm hopeful we can renovate that junior high because the kids need the safety and they need to know the history of that building. That's one of the Rap and Rap buildings, which is our architectural history. He's one of our 12 legends. the two Rapp brothers, which is an amazing. I mean, they started the Santa Fe style. And so we need to preserve these buildings and really make our students aware of their history here.
Right. And this might be a question that, with you not having been on council for a while, but we have water losses of 40% from our source down to the city. What plans are in place now to repair, and how can we not fall again?
Here again,
Fall back again.
Yeah, I love that. That's we're chartered to city needs, and we should be. I don't know. Maybe we have to go up there and fix those tanks. I'm not sure what the water loss is from. Is it at the tanks? At the
It's all along,
surface?
it's all along the
Along
pipeline, and they've had meetings about that. And Gabe England put into place a long-term plan as 15, 20, 25 years. I don't recall exactly.
Wow, that's a
So,
long time ago.
and again, so that would probably be expecting too much that you would have known that,
I
because it
didn't
was
know
a
that,
couple
but
years ago.
I will get with
So-
Santa Fe and see what they do to repair theirs. I mean, I'm
Right.
still, I know some people down there, and it's networking with people to find out how we can.
Right. But you're willing to educate
Yeah,
yourself,
that's a good
so
idea
that's
on
key.
that. I
So
didn't know they were losing water.
they just had a meeting the other night that I missed for the first time in a long time, but what are your solutions for a monument? Like, what do you think should happen?
Well, I think you're right about the bathhouse, that people want to come there and be comfortable, and I think that modifying that, having a construction plan that is bid out and make sure that what I call the cost effectiveness or the cost benefit analysis, how many people go there per year, what are the number of residents versus outside tourists that stay there, how many events have they planned. I think we need to know some more history about the usage, and so that we can really put an effort. We put them in our magazine too, but maybe we should do a feature story about the Monument Lake and really build it up, give them special rates to come for certain times of years. This is my winter hat. Hopefully we'll do some winter planning for tourists, and maybe that's one of them, if you can ever get up there. I mean,
Right.
our roads aren't that bad.
Right.
So I think I would like to explore the different avenues.
That's a good-looking hat.
I would love this. Okay. And this was my summer hat and my trails hat. I love the effort that was done by them.
As you were saying earlier, some people,
Recreation.
you were a school teacher. That's why all the props.
That's right. And my triggers hat, I'm waiting for somebody to buy me
To
a
get you a
triggers
better
hat.
triggers hat.
And this is my agriculture, tourism, and my heritage hat with our,
Right.
that's why I wore this on, especially on Labor Day parade. That is the best function. I told one lady the best things in town are painting of the T, the Trinidad T on the high school,
Oh, right, yeah.
and the Labor Day parade. And I've been almost in every parade. I just love the parades.
Cool.
Not in every parade. And I was
Right.
anti-litter with Kelly, the recycle lady at
Okay.
Terra Firma. We started the
Okay.
anti-litter program, and Carol Bolton helped us with getting around to the schools. The lady came,
Mhm.
and it was more on recycling, reduce waste, recycle. Kelly Van Meter at, what is it, Terra Firma.
Terra Firma,
We
right.
did a float for the Artocade Parade. I just love all the parades and the community gatherings in this town. It's just an amazing effort. And maybe spreading them out would be helpful too, because they seem to all occur in about a 4-week
Sure.
period. August, September.
Well, one of the things the mayor talked about, and there have been discussions before, getting an event coordinator and planner to help, because a lot of people that do these events are burned out.
And this is my blues hat too. We have
Cool.
a big effort to really get 30,000 of these magazines out and
Right.
support the blues. We had a blow-in of their program and the historical program of the Cimarron. Was it the same weekend? So I hope a master calendar is in the making so that we
Right.
don't
Well, interjecting again here too, I think we need somebody to actually help plan.
Yes.
Not just a calendar, because
Right,
whether
exactly.
people look at it or not, but I know, having been part of the YMCA years ago and other people that do things, and you have a regular or a job and everything
That's
else, you get burned out, and it can consume a lot of time. Last question to this segment, and this might be, without your lack of experience in council, it might be something you may not be able to address. But through the years, we've had meetings with the city and county where they've tried to work together and not necessarily had a lot of success. What do you think about the city and the county working together?
Well, actually, when I did that grant for the city of Santa Fe, we had to expand to the county of Santa Fe, and we had, like I said, needs assessment meetings with different sectors of the business and also the government coming in to give input. I was a facilitator. I hired a facilitator. We list everybody's input, try to get that back to them, have them prioritize it. come back together and say, everybody voted for this priority, let's all work together on this. I know it's theoretical, but I've done that with that's why I got the grant, was because we had such an inclusive scope of not just businesses, but public and private entities that gave input to this grant. And that was my forte, I guess my strong point with working in cities, is really being able to talk to other people and personalize their experience and make sure their stories are heard.
Right. So just kind of follow up. So you certainly would be willing to work with county officials to possibly collaborate in the future.
I agree.
Okay.
I love that idea,
Okay.
especially on the agritourism. I don't know if they're interested. I've had feedback that a lot of counties like Lahana are generating a lot of tourists to the farms, but some of our county people don't want that. I don't know. I have to,
Right.
we'd like to get the feedback to make sure we're.
There's been some discussion on that. That's interesting. But Jean, this is it. We're going to take a short break and then we're going to do our last segment. Okay?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I do need
All right.
some water. Too
Everyone,
much
I'm Tom
time?
Murphy, and this is Trinidad Now on Trinidad Times Television. We'll be right back.
I was talking during that time. Sorry.
Oops. And
You can edit.
actually, I'm going to do it this one. Thanks, everyone. I'm Tom Murphy, and this is Trinidad Now on Trinidad Times Television. We'll be right back. I forgot to change the shot just a minute.